Alrighty, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to our Team Massive Success meeting here. This is Rob Gearing, leader of Team Massive Success, here with Aspire and Digital Altitude, and I'm joined by a great panel, Rebecca Stamer, who you're going to be hearing some great words from down the road here later on in the meeting on our topic that we're going to cover, which is the simple art of recruiting. We have Carlos here, Daniel, and we have Lawrence, and I think that's everybody. So that's our star-studded panel today. And like I say, you'll be hearing from Rebecca shortly. What I want to do is kick it into some screen share right now. So let me find my screen share and do a couple of things. The first thing I want to do is, if you're watching this video, welcome. That is the first and foremost thing on our mind as we kick off every one of our weekly meetings. So we know that not everybody can make it at. And let me just close my messaging system here. And that's our Facebook group that you're looking at right there. So there's that. Close that off. Okay, let me move us back. Oop. Move us back. Okay. So we know that not everybody can make it to our meetings. So we do have recording capability, and this is being recorded. So if you're new, here's really the thing that I want you to do first and foremost. So if you are brand new, what I want you to do is, and I need to actually cue this up, our Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/Rob's Total Shortcut. And once you request entry and are granted entry, there's a pin post with the getting started video. And we've had a great influx of people coming in, and members, it's members only, members of Team Massive Success, folks that have taken a $1 trial with Digital Altitude. We've had a nice influx of newbies coming in, which is awesome. But we found that sometimes when you're, when we're meeting and greeting people and sending out text welcomes and stuff, we know that sometimes Facebook links and tracker links and Bitly links and all that can come off goofy looking in a text message. So we also created a site, and that's robgearing.com/massive success. And what that does is that sort of puts the video that's the same video that's at the Facebook group, and it puts it on this website. It's very easy to text that to somebody. Leaders can put that in their own domains if they want, do drawings or whatever. But it's just an easy thing to remember, robgearing.com/massive success. And it goes to our team blog page, which has the welcome video. And then I will quiet myself here. I'll mute that. So it has our welcome video right here, and some instructions, a checklist. So the first thing we want new people to do is go to robgearing.com/massive success. Watch the video, right? We welcome you to our team. We welcome you to Aspire and Digital Altitude. And then click that link right there that says here in step 1. And that will put you over to our Facebook group. So you can introduce yourself, we can say hi, and then there's interaction that goes on there. Because here's the key with this business, and I want to be clear with new people about this. It's about engagement. You will succeed in anything that you do by engaging. If you stay on the sidelines, it's going to be a lot harder. So we're seeing a lot of people just starting to come out and say, hey, let me try a couple of these steps. Let me get with a coach. Let me find more out about this. And that's really gratifying. And that's what us leaders do. We're out there in the field just basically helping the coaches get people started and to take a look at it. Because why would you go to a banner or some type of advertising format and fill in your information and give a credit card for a $1 trial and then not do anything with it? You had an intention and you had a reason as to why you came here and you did this. And that was, I'm sure, to make money, right? This is an online business, to work from the comfort of your home. You may have liked some of the things you heard on a video. The words inspired you. So you owe it to yourself just to get through your first 6 steps and do whatever you can do to get to that final 6th step and make, important decisions at that point. And that's really it. So my job as a coach, and Rebecca's job, and Carlos and Daniel and Lawrence, it's just a matter of making those connections happen, getting the new person started, you the new person, if you're watching this as a new person, and helping you along, because your coach does the heavy lifting in the first 6 steps, and then we come along after that to provide additional training, meetings like this, answer questions. But it's all about helping you build an online business for as much as you want to make. So we could say 1,000 a month, 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month. These are all arbitrary numbers. You set your goal as to what you want to achieve. You have the resources here to make that happen. So, so it all starts with your welcome video. It all starts by making, as the number 2 point says, book an appointment with your coach, and begin the 18-step process. But it's really the first 6 steps that are the most critical ones. And we give you the login link. Log in here. Put in your email address, like the video says. Password. If you forgot, use the lost password feature. You make your coaching appointment. A lot of you folks, if you have trouble, we have access to coaches' links, so we could give you their direct calendar link to make that appointment. And that's pretty much it. And then hit getting started. They may have already unlocked some training steps, or you may have to do that appointment and meet with them before they'll start unlocking those 6 training steps. And then just follow it along. It's a paint by numbers, step-by-step process. And then, there's further things that are on the team blog. And we, for later on consumption, we have our team site as well, which you can get to kind of towards the bottom, below my video, and other little fun tabs on the team blog, which you certainly can take a look at. But in the beginning, just start with the basics of what that welcome video says, and then you go from there. So for all new folks, we welcome you, and you made a great choice. Thank you very much. Next point of the meeting tonight is to go into the leaderboard, which I have right here in front of me. So 185 total team members, and as we said, there's movement happening. And I want to give a shout out to Carlos here, because he was able, and this is a big accomplishment. He brought one of his folks. He's on the leaderboard with 8, tied with Tom. He brought one of his 8, Wilson, who may end up watching this video and listening. Hi, Wilson. He brought Wilson in to our Facebook group, and that's that important engagement, right? So Wilson maybe checks out that video and gets started and starts some steps. And, it's a people business like we're going to talk about tonight. It's just so important to make connections, to help people, and to get people started, because you never know what you never know what you missed unless you go through it and find out. Otherwise, it would be that lingering doubt. Years ago, somebody invited me to an online business and I just didn't do it. And now I see they're millionaires and I'm nothing. Don't be that person that ever has to utter those words, right? So anyway, back to the leaders. Lawrence with 23, Martin Bigler with 21, Rebecca with 15, Tom with 8, Carlos with 8, and Daniel with 3. So some really great work there. When we get to whoever gets the 200th, and it may be me, maybe, I don't know. No, I don't know. I'm not generally counting myself in the numbers other than the total team number. But whoever gets to 200, remember, there's a $25, or whoever gets that 200th member in, there's that $25 prize that's up for grabs. So hopefully you didn't forget about that. So that's the leaderboard. So that's what happens when you join, when you get trained, when you're blessed to begin marketing, and you go out there and you begin bringing people in who are evaluating the business. And depending on the level that you choose, that's how much money you can make with this. And there are people that are bringing down $7,000 to $10,000 with one customer based on where they're positioned. So that's life-changing income, right? But it comes with a price. There's a price of admission. There's work to be done. There's investments on different levels, and not just monetary, emotional and mental, and whatever else that we invest ourselves and our heart and the grit and everything. So there it is. But that's the manifestation. And then from this, as we coach people and as we move them forward and link them up with those all important coaches, that's where the income begins, the income piece of this. So it doesn't come necessarily from the dollar trial, but it comes from people who take a look at this and say, wow, this is awesome, and I'm in, right? So that's that. So I'm going to move now over to the next piece, which is the Simple Art of Recruiting, which I think I can get to by just clicking Simple Art of Recruiting right here at the team blog, which you can access by going to robgearing.com/massive success. So this is something that I learned about I don't know, maybe not even a year ago. So maybe about 8-9 months ago, something like that, coming up on a year. Because I was at a seminar, live event that I visited in Atlanta. I was listening to a speaker who makes about $1 million or more than $1 million, multimillionaire, and always told me and told others that it's really a people business, and it's really about qualifying your prospects, qualifying your list, qualifying anything that you do in business, so that your time is valuable. Because there's a lot of people who will waste your time out there, and there are a lot of people who are actually eager and interested in what you have to say and what you have to offer. So it really is something that it's about building relationships. There's so many angles with this. I'm going to go over the article here that I did, and there's a role play. There's actually a video that I shot in June of 17, which you can watch. And one of our good friends, Nick Grimshaw, was there, and he was my customer, and I was the affiliate, or I was the seller, and he was the buyer, and it was really a fun thing that we did there. So this script that you see before you, that was all done by voice as well. So it's definitely worth a listen of how the phone, this could be a phone call example. And now you're aghast. Oh my God. Now they said the F word, now the P word, phone. Sometimes we have to make a phone call. It's not a bad thing. And I think Rebecca's probably going to touch on some of that in her piece coming up here in a few minutes. But the simple art of recruiting, I'm going to put it in a couple of buckets here. It starts with potentially using this as how you advertise. We talk about lead capture pages. So an example of a lead capture page that I created through Traffic Leads to Income VM, which is a resource that you get as being part of Team Massive Success. Something as simple as online marketing coaching available for free from a six-figure earner, no BS, fill in your email address. Now, when you fill in that email address, you're taken to a questionnaire, which is the second part of, I don't know why that stayed open there. That's the second part of the simple art of recruiting. Now it's gone, okay. That's the second part of the simple art of recruiting is a questionnaire, which looks something like this. And I don't want to get too technical with this, but you know, if you're familiar at all with marketing, you have your lead capture page, build your list, fill in the form, you know, and then you can continue to email somebody updates and whatnot. A landing page is what they get after they fill in the short form. This is what we call a qualifier. So I can then find out if one of my leads is really interested because they took the time to read the next page and fill out the survey to apply for six-figure coaching. And that gives me information about how much they want to make, how much they're willing to invest, how much they're willing to work, and a phone number, right? And then after they fill that out, there's a landing page. This is sort of a lead capture format. So there's a landing page from this that has my scheduling calendar. So I actually updated, this information. Let me close that. Oh, there's that little Dickens right there. I'm going to close that. That's the lead capture. So I showed you the lead cap. I showed you the questionnaire. There's also a calendar that I use, and it just looks something like this. It's no big deal. After they fill out that questionnaire, I get an email copy of what their answers were. And instead of me just calling them, why don't I ask them when they're available, and we'll schedule an appointment. So these are very easy things. I just used a blog as a page builder, and there's code. I use what's called Acuity. I put it in the article, Acuity scheduling. I'll double check that in a second. They gave me the code then once I set it up just to put it, you know, on a web page or on a blog, and that's how people schedule with me. And then we get into conversation. So it's just a different way to qualify your list. Okay, you can actually advertise this way and literally bring in, you know, qualified prospects and potential people that will buy from you. You can use these techniques, not the lead capture page, but the questionnaire and the calendar with your existing list, with, you know, any kind of list that you have of clients, of customers, and even with your own team, so to speak, to get inactives to engage and do something. It's an activity. We talk about content. You know, we're always in our Skype group, which is our mastery group. We're always talking about content. And content, this is an example of content. Content comes in different formats, and you know, you want to mix up how you're communicating with people. And we actually, in this article, this is so jam-packed with information, it's just incredible. Rebecca did a training about setting up the questionnaire and GetResponse. I have a link to that. So a lot of different angles with this, but it's important to understand that we want to eventually get real with our people. We want to show them that we're real, and there's nothing more real than a conversation. When the autoresponder stops, when the automated process ends, and a real person opens the curtain and walks out and says, here I am to help support you and be there with you. This is my story. This is where this is, you know, what I've done to get where I'm at. Let me help you write your story, right? So there's a lot of different ways then you can take this and run with it in your business. And I think Rebecca's going to give some examples of some ways that she does it. And again, the script is yours, yours for the taking. It's just a matter of if you follow my steps of setup here and have a lead capture page or a questionnaire and people fill it out, this is a great script. Literally, this is what you say and what they say. And it's really about confirming their goals and dreams and saying, you know what, I can make that happen if you're ready to take the next step. Not that you're going to ask me a million questions and I'm going to fill in every detail. No, you're going to have faith, right? You're going to be a believer based on, the good conversation that we've had so far. And when it comes to Digital Altitude, when you insert your own business into this, we're only asking for $1, right? Is one on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being I'm really excited and interested and ready to pull out my credit card, and 1 being I'm not interested at all. If I were to tell you it's only $1 to move forward, where would that put you on the scale? My friends, if you can't close that one, I don't know. It's going to be a long road to hoe. But the good news is you can, because it's so easy. And now here's the real exciting part about this. Okay, so I'm not going to go over the script because it's here for you. The real exciting part of this is, let's just go through a scenario. Okay, I put out my lead capture page that is, that simply is, a meeting with me, right? And somebody fills that in, and they fill in that questionnaire, and so I get an email. So I print that out. I have that handy on my desk. They make an appointment with me, and I make that phone call, and I get them started in my Digital Altitude business. What do you think I can do next? Stay on the line. Let me get you started in training. Okay. How do I do that? Well, log into your Digital Altitude back office. You can't remember your password. Use the lost password feature. Make that up. Oh yeah, that's what you click on. Good job to make your coaching appointment, right? Oh, very good job. There you go. You see that getting started? This is incredible because this is the gap that we have. People that join, and I do a lot of paid advertising, so I get people that join all the time, and they don't do anything to start with. Okay, so what if I were able to take the prospect and literally lead them all the way through, including the initial training steps? I'm cutting the wasted time and the waste. Just the any waste in the process, I'm just cutting that all out and making this pretty seamless. That's one of the things I really like about this. So whether that be a brand new prospect that I literally waltz through the entire process, including getting them started, and the quicker they move and the quicker things happen, the more apt that they're going to stay on and start licensing products and earning in the higher chance of you earning a nice income, right? Comes of that. And again, take out you don't really want to advertise that lead capture page, right? You just have an existing list. Fine, it's still the same. It's still the same thing. How about a team that you just aren't sure what they're about and who they are? Nothing better than giving them a survey to fill out a questionnaire, and they make an appointment with you. And again, it's all about everything that I say and do in a lot of these meetings. It's just simply about getting them to log in, hook up with their coach, and go through those 6 training steps. And we can use the simple art of recruiting here at Digital Altitude to do just that. So I'll take questions from the group when we are done with the recording. That's one of the advantages of being part of the live audience. But at this point, I'm going to stop my screen share. I'm going to show you who I am. And I'm going to mute my microphone. And Rebecca's going to unmute her microphone. I'm going to take my earpiece out, and she's going to do her thing. So over to you, Rebecca. And I'm going to leave my earpiece in. Never mind. I got to hear her. Okay, go ahead, Rebecca.
Hey, why not? You might want to run away. Thanks, Rob. And that was a great presentation. And it covers the aspect of continued communication. That is the biggest problem that we have with getting leads and then maintaining leads. What I'm going to talk about a little more, because Rob started out with getting the leads, qualifying them, and that's all very, very important. But more important than that is once they get on that list, what do you do with them? How can you get them to keep communicating? Especially if you've got that shy one that, shy like me, that doesn't like to talk, doesn't want to get on the phone, doesn't want to get on Skype, doesn't want to show their face. You can take this same questionnaire that Rob is talking about, and you can create your own survey, or you can create the questionnaire in an email. Either way, get that conversation going. If you have the calendar, great. Why is a calendar great? Well, like with Acuity, once the name is on there, they will send out reminder emails, just in case you forget to send out the reminder email. It can send out multiple reminder emails to make sure that the person is going to be there. So that's really key, but it's always good that you follow up yourself with a text, with a Skype, with a Facebook. You always want to make sure you let them know a few minutes before that you're just about ready to meet, and let's keep this appointment. So once you do that, to keep conversation going, I've been using emails lately, and Rob is the one that inspired me. I was emailing my team maybe once a day, or my leads. And I noticed that Rob emails 2, sometimes 3 times a day. And I was like, okay, wonder what's up with this. And then I realized I was getting 12 and 15, and that he and I discussed earlier, I'm just on too many of his lists too many times. So it boils down to 2, 3 times a day. And some of it is just content, and some of it is asking you to do something, and this and that. So I started developing a series of letters, and I started conversation with my leads, inviting them to schedule. My first one, which, by the way, everybody, I did put the link in the Skype room the other day. I don't know it off the top of my head, of a Google Doc that I can share with everybody on the emails that I've created to create conversation. You are welcome to download that doc, save it to your own Google Docs, and edit for your use. One of the main emails I use asks questions in it, very similar to the survey that we use. And basically it says, hey, I've been there, and I know how hard it is to break out of your shell. So just answer a couple of questions. Hit reply and answer these, and let's go from there. And question number 1, are you dreaming of earning extra income or possibly replacing a current income? Question number 2, what was the last program you joined? Were you successful? And did you give 100% of yourself to make it work? And number 3, what is your ideal solution to creating an income? I sent that out through 4 different autoresponders. Yes, I have 4. And I had responses from every single autoresponder, from people that I have not spoke to or heard from in probably 2 years. They've been on my list sitting dormant, and they started answering strictly by email. Then I put out a couple more, and I've got myself to emailing my list twice a day, morning 6 a.m., night 6 p.m. I've just put myself on that schedule, and I combine it with one of these emails that talks about either the program or a concept and draws a question at the end. And I'm getting response to all of that. I mix these up with emails from DA's back office, which is great content. You can use it as is. You can change it up. The letters we receive every day from Michael Force. Use them as is, change them up, use the content. That's what people want to see from you, is content. You start producing content that they understand, that makes you look like the expert. Then you can throw that survey out there to them, and they respond. They're like, and I've had in the last week, I've had at least 4 emails that came back to me that said, you really know what you're talking about. Okay, maybe I do, maybe I don't, but the content makes them believe that. And I was able to ask questions, and they're starting to consider joining. And I still can't get them into a verbal conversation, but the email conversation is going on. So this is something I just really wanted to stress. I have one I do on Facebook Messenger, okay? And we talk there. And so that is progressing. This person's a little low on funds right now. But as long as they stay in communication, the interest level is there. There are 100 ways you can advise them how to come up with money. That's a whole nother subject Rob can go into at another time. But you want to keep the conversation going. And that to me right now is the key thing that I am doing with my list. Every day I get somebody new now that wants to converse or wants to ask a question or find out if this is really for real. Now, you do get the idiots too. I'm not going to say you don't. You know, just like the guy who told me he already was making over $1 million a year, close to 2 million. You know, and was I going to double that for him? No, but he can double it if he wants to put in the work and join the program. So conversation comes in all different ways, and this power of recruiting, the simple art of recruiting, is how you do it. And that's, you use that same system with your current leads and even your team. I mean, if you've got someone on your team that is not communicating or not doing the steps or absolutely just sitting there, but they spent their dollar, and granted it's only $1, but they might as well get something for their money. And pulling them out of their shell and trying to start a conversation is the best way to get them to go do those 6 steps. Now, I haven't had a whole lot of success with it yet, but we're getting closer. I feel that maybe a couple more conversations, somebody might actually call their coach. So I feel that this is the way to go. Would I love to get on the phone? Yes, I would love to talk to these people. But they have to be ready or they're not going to answer. And there's nothing more disappointing than to lose a lead because you insist on pushing to be on the phone. So if it requires texting, Skyping, Facebooking, emailing, the simple art of recruiting works in all forms of communication. And that's the important thing that I really wanted to stress to everybody. It works all forms. Therefore, there's no reason that you cannot communicate with someone anywhere in the world. Because if they can't read it, they can translate it. And I'm having to translate some messages coming back in. It's a great tool. Acuity scheduling, as Rob pointed out, it is a great tool. And it's so easy for your lead to use it. I mean, it is very simple for them to fill out, put in a time. It converts to their time versus your time. So there's no excuses for communication lack. I don't know what else I can throw in there for you, Rob, so I'm going to give it back to you.
That's good, Rebecca. Good stuff. No, and she's having success. And like I think I talked to somebody in a coaching session earlier today about success is not just dollars and cents, it's small victories. There's all kinds of levels of success. So a couple of success stories that I've had recently, maybe not necessarily the simple art of recruiting in its pure format that I kind of taught there, but I do make calls, but I'm very careful with calls. I'll put it out there. I'll put my calendar out there to everybody, and if they make an appointment, then they're interested, right? So that's always fine. You're always safe with your calendar. But the only time now that I make calls with mine, this is for you guys who have team members, I pretty much watch very closely coaches' notes. I look at opens on my emails. I make a list constantly of who I feel are interested in the top people, if you will. And then at the right time where I feel a week has passed, 2 weeks have passed, maybe they even go into inactive status, there's nothing more happening. There is no hope unless I get involved at this point. I pick up the phone. I made a call to Otis today. Otis, hi, you may be watching the recording. Otis is in our Facebook group now. It was just that call that got Otis to, then I said, well, I'll send you the information in an email. This is a personal email, not autoresponder. And then Otis reacted. He joined the Facebook group. We chatted in there. And we're talking about how do you log in? I don't have my password. This is how you overcome that. Overcoming obstacles. Wins, wins, wins. Each one of those is a win, win, win. So sure, income is a win down the road. Income's a nice win, but so is getting somebody moving. So is getting somebody to see if this is the right thing for them. I'm looking at my list over here. I could think of 4 or 5 other, 6, maybe even more examples of people who I know that through my interaction, I was able to influence, but I didn't step on a coach's toes. I waited till I felt like I don't front end call dollar trial members. I'm on the way back end saying, you know what, now it's time at least for me to just kind of close the books. Because there is a closing of the books. You know, somebody says, I'm not interested, I want to cancel, don't contact me, unsubscribe, block me, what, you know, all that. That's it. But until then, here I am. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and all of that good stuff. So that's sort of my close, that it's team, there's team, that's the team application. But it never ends, actually. Even your high level clients, your high level team members who are highest heights of any of the program, it's still the simple art of recruiting. It's still the simple art of communication, maybe is a better way to say it, is you're still having there's needs, there's things to say, things to analyze, things to put out there. It's really a never ending process. But what we do here is we learn, we teach, and then the next thing that happens is then people kind of start breaking off and branching off as future leaders. And that's the way you want to think of your team. And your team may not have exploded yet, but it will. And you just got to always have that mindset. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I think this was a good one that we'll certainly put in the archives and get this out to our lists and whatnot. When it comes to, hey, you could join the party, just join and, come on in, or if you're already in, just come on in. So hopefully we'll have some newbies. We had Rose, and Rose isn't a newbie, but Rose popped by to see us today, and Rose has been, I've known Rose for, I think, a while now, and, she's kind of coming back into the fold. It looks like we're going to chat a little bit probably later on Skype, see how Rose is doing and everything. So it's just awesome to see. There's never an end. There's never a give up. There's never, the people come around in all kinds of ways, shapes, and forms. As long as we believe in them, we believe in ourselves, and we also believe in our people. And the fact that, we're here and we're available, because sometimes life doesn't always give us the right moment. I talked with, who did I talk with that told me that today? So many people. That would have been Elizabeth. That was Elizabeth. And Elizabeth has been clicking on my links, but not acting on the click and then opening emails. But Elizabeth told me this isn't the right time for me to really get started. But a great person, and like, that's great. Just let me know when it's time. So that could be, who knows when, but it doesn't matter. It's all fine. So keep the communication going. Never give up on yourself or anybody for that matter. And we'll have this recording available tomorrow morning. And again, I thank my live group. I thank Rebecca for a great presentation. And I thank those that will, that are going to be watching this on the recording. Hopefully, everybody who sees this found it and finds it useful. So I wish you a great night, and as always, to your massive success. Thank you very much.